Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome in the Vikings Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Patrick Siepman, and we got a lot to talk about on today's show as the news around the NFL has been flying today. Division rival, the Chicago Bears, traded for Joe Thuney after also trading for Jonah Jackson yesterday. So the Bears were one of the teams that were going to compete for with the Minnesota Vikings to sign some of the top interior offensive line free agents, but I think the Vikings had some great news because I think that takes one of the biggest suitors heading into free agency off the market. But hey, before we start, if you guys love the Minnesota Vikings, hit me with a SKOL down below in the comments section. All right, I have 106 of you guys in the building. Shout out to everybody for tuning in. And shout out to Ben, Ty Man, the Buckeye, Jetta's Production saying SKOL, Jake Carlson saying SKOL. Shout out to you, Jake. We got Ben, Jeremy Armstrong saying, what's happening, Pat? What's happening, Jeremy? Shout out to you. We got Troy, SKOL Nation, Rocky, Jettas, Ryan, Joey Tana in the building, Raphael saying SKOL, Cohen saying, love the new haircut. Yeah, decided to buzz it all off the top. I don't know if you guys noticed this week. I say I'm entering my Harrison Smith buzz cut era when Harry the Hitman was rocking the buzz cut. You know, we had free agency start and wanted to change up the look for the offseason, so decided to buzz the hair up top. I'll tell you what, it feels great in the morning having to wake up and not touch anything on the top of my head. I just, wake up, get changed, having to do nothing with my hair, so I really like it. Is Z cool in the building? What's going on, Z? Saying not cut my hair until OTAs start. Should we do? Should I not shave the beard until the Vikings win a playoff game? Hopefully that ends this season. Maybe we could do something like that. But Aaron Sandy in the building, Ronald in the building, Asia Roberson saying SKOL. Hey, Seeps, what's going on, Asia? How you doing? Ham Boynan saying SKOL in the chat. We already got Julius Grover coming in with the $5 super chat. We appreciate you, Julius. All he had to say was SKOL Vikings. Shout out to you, Julius. If everybody could show Julius some love down below in the live chat right now, give me a SKOL, Julius. As I was just telling producer Dylan before we went live here, the next couple of weeks are some of my favorite weeks to be covering the NFL because there is so much just speculation out there on what the Vikings are doing, what these other NFL teams are doing, and next week, like, this team could look completely different. Like, one, will Sam Darnold be on this team? Will we re-sign Byron Murphy Jr., which I will say, Byron Murphy Jr., I think he's going to sign an extension with the Minnesota Vikings here very, very shortly. I mean, this could happen while we are live, but he posted on his Instagram story a highlight tape of him, obviously with the Minnesota Vikings last year, and that was it. Now, people obviously, they're speculating that maybe Byron Murphy Jr. could be signing that extension soon, which, as you guys know, I am all in on Byron Murphy Jr. getting that big-time extension with the Vikes. I'm hoping it's not anywhere near $20 million per year. Hopefully it's around $17, $18 million, which, the projections are indicating that it should be around $17.5 million, but we'll see if Byron Murphy Jr. gets a deal done. As Mason saying, you're asking us if we want the bag on Drew Dahlman. I say yes, but would you? I would do it, man. There are reports out there that he could get Creed Humphrey money, which is around $20 million a year. I wouldn't love to give him that, but you know what I want the Vikings to do? I want the Vikings to overpay for Drew Dahlman. I want all of us almost being like a little concerned with how much money per year the Vikes will give Drew Dahlman. I'm all in on this guy. 26 years old, entering the prime of his NFL career. And plus, like, if you're, freaking out over, the Vikings could give Drew Dahlman $18 million, keep in mind, if they sign Drew Dahlman, they will cut Garrett Bradbury, and that saves you $5.2 million. So you just take that 5.2, throw it to Drew Dahlman, only around giving him, still giving him $15 million, but you could still, make it a lot easier with cutting Garrett Bradbury. So I'm all in for it. But hey, that's a good segue here. Who is your dream Vikings free agent target? Also, still massive shout out to Julius. If you guys do want to support the show, send in a super chat. Great way to do so. It's a dollar icon at the bottom of the live chat right now. Really does go a long way here, and we're just getting new graphics and everything here at Chat Sports, and you guys super chatting is a great way to help us out. So we appreciate all of you guys. But you guys let me know, who is your dream free agent target for the Vikings? As we do have producer extraordinaire Dylan in the skybox right now, which get familiar with Dylan. He's going to be with us throughout all free agency and hopefully all next season. So hopefully we'll have a real producer here for Vikings Now for at least the next year. But Dylan, do you got a dream free agent target for the Vikings? Obviously, new to covering this football team, but do you got a guy in mind?
I think it's got to be Milton Williams. I mean, if you add him to that defensive line, along with Grenard, along with what they had last year in that Flores defense, it's a perfect fit.
Yeah. No, I'm with you on Milton Williams. He's still number one for me, but like I see a lot of DJ Reeds in the comment section right now. Shout out to Andrew Walker, Jackson Paulson, Joey Tana, all saying DJ Reed. I am all in on DJ Reed. We obviously know the Vikings coaching staff, big fans of his. But I'm just curious if the Vikings, like, if we do re-sign Byron Murphy and give him that $17, $18 million a year, are we going to attack cornerback again in free agency? Like, maybe it's not a guy like DJ Reed and it's maybe a guy you could get on just a one-year prove-it deal. I don't know if they would toss big money to a corner, because if you pay Byron Murphy 17, DJ Reed 14, and then you still want to go, upgrade this interior of the offensive line, or you want to go upgrade the interior of the defensive line, I just don't know if they have enough funds to get that done. But, hey, also, maybe you let Cam Bynum walk, because apparently Harrison Smith, nothing official yet, but it's sounding like he will actually return for one more season with the Vikings, which is great. He understands Flores' system very, very well. So, as Jackson also saying, Asante Samuel, I would be in on it. Honestly, Asante Samuel, I think he's on the same tier of cornerback as Byron Murphy Jr., even though Murphy had a way better year last year. But in 2023, Asante Samuel was fantastic. But Aaron saying Ronnie Stanley, yeah, I just don't think the Vikings are in the tackle market. Maybe they kick him inside, but again, I don't think that's too likely. Cohen, what's going on? Saying hashtag Vikings, what's your opinion on the NFL international games? I love them. I think it's a great idea. It's just free marketing for the NFL overseas. Eric saying Najee Harris. I'm probably out on Najee Harris. I would rather have the Vikes just bring back Aaron Jones than draft the running back. That's where I'm at right now. Is Jackson also saying Will Fries. Hamboyan saying Darius Slay. I would be in on Slay. I forget what he said. He said, like, the SKOL chant's one of the coolest things in all of sports. So maybe Slay has some interest in coming to Minnesota. I know Jefferson would like that. Is Slay? It's probably, if I had to say the best corners over the last 4 seasons guarding Jefferson, it's probably, or 5 seasons now. Jeez, that's crazy. Jefferson's entering year 6. I'd probably say Darius Slay and Jair Alexander have done the best jobs on Justin Jefferson. So I would love Darius Slay. Maybe you could get him on a 1-year, $8-9 million deal. Definitely have some interest there. But let me ask you guys this. Name a random Vikings player for me. I love doing this. I get some creative answers from you guys. Just want to get the brain churning a little bit here. A random one for me could go like a guy like Phil Lodeholt. He was one of my favorites, just big old Phil Lodeholt holding down the right side of that offensive line. Cohen saying Justin Jefferson. You got to get more random than that. Hamboyan saying Chad Beebe. Shout out to Chad Beebe. What year was that when Chad Beebe had his run with the Minnesota Vikings? Zimmer loved this guy, man. Mike Zimmer was just addicted with keeping this guy on the team. He's actually from Aurora, Illinois, which is about 20, 30 minutes away from where I grew up. But I guess his best year was 2020. Chad Beebe had 200 yards with the Minnesota Vikings, 2 touchdowns. Zimmer was a big fan of him. We got Anthony Barr coming in, one of my favorite players. Z Cool, about to kick Z Cool from the chat, saying Blair Walsh. Come on, Z. Can't have that bad mojo heading into free agency, man. I'm just kidding. Z Cool. Shout out to you. Steve Hutchinson coming in. Ronnie giving me a Randy Moss. Yeah, Aaron saying too soon, Z Cool. Tyson Slay saying Antoine Winfield. Arnold saying Steve Jordan. All right, Z Cool saying Gary Anderson now. Come on, man. Jay Jettas. You got it?
Yeah.
Go for it.
What about Trey Waynes?
Michigan Waynes.
State cornerback from 2015.
That's a great name. Trey Waynes, I'll tell you what, I was very wrong about him. I thought he was going to be a premier player for the Minnesota Vikings, and he was. I mean, he was pretty good for a couple years, but because I think Trey, after he left Minnesota, I think he went to Cincinnati for a couple years, kind of fizzled out. Like Captain Munnerlyn. Vikings had some weird cornerbacks over the last couple years. Christian Ponder coming in from Joey Tana. Greg Joseph. Sidney Rice is always a good one I go to. Everson Griffin. Linval Joseph. Trey went, yeah, maybe it was the Colts, Z Cool. In terms of where Trey Waynes went. But, hey, we'll be getting into a mailbag, though. Favorite part of the week where we answer your guys' questions, so stay tuned. We'll probably do this in about 35, 40 minutes or so. So stay tuned throughout this whole live show. But if you guys got a question around your Minnesota Vikings, a lot to talk about, man. Sam Darnold, is he returning? Also, and listen, hashtag Vikings Super Chat. You guys know what to do. I trust you guys. But our good old friend Mike Florio, I don't know if you guys saw this. Mike Florio hopped on Paul Allen's show, and he said he is going to predict if Sam Darnold re-signs a 2-year deal with the Minnesota Vikings, that J.J. McCarthy will request a trade. It honestly just pissed me off, and it shouldn't piss me off because it's freaking Florio talking. He has to have some of the worst takes around the Minnesota Vikings ever. And also, I blame him for saying the Vikings lost to the Lions. It was the couple of days before Florio started saying, "Oh, the Vikings are going to get the number 1 seed. They're going to go to the Super Bowl." And listen, I was saying the Vikings were going to go to the Super Bowl since like week 10 of last season, and I was very wrong on that. But Florio started hopping on the bandwagon, then the season, went to hell. But him saying that J.J. McCarthy would request a trade if Sam Darnold signs a 2-year deal, I think it's a joke. One, the Vikings aren't trading J.J. McCarthy. 2, J.J. McCarthy would never request a trade. Absolutely not. That would never happen. And also, 3 here, the Vikings would never honor that trade request, in my opinion. That's just personally what I think. And I just think it's Florio just trying to get engagement. Because he knew if he said that, he would get a lot of clicks. I don't know. Is rent due right now? I mean, it's March 5th. Rent was due about 4 days ago. So I don't know if Florio's, necessarily doing. But I thought it was very, very interesting. But coming up here, we got some great news around the Minnesota Vikings heading into free agency. Actually, a triple dose of great news that we'll dive into. And then Kevin O'Connell hopped on Ryan Fitzpatrick's podcast and gave some great intel on the Vikings quarterback plan. And then we will have a mailbag, so hashtag Vikings. Get those questions in there. Shout out to Hamboyan getting one in. But just put whatever you want in the live chat. Attach hashtag Vikings to that comment, and we will break it down in full on today's show. And if you guys could, hit that thumbs up icon. We got 49 likes right now. Once we get to... Let's do 60 likes. Once we get to 60 likes, we'll start today's show. But yeah, if you guys could, hit that thumbs up icon. Mason saying, talking about Sam Darnold not getting the tag. Do you think the Vikings will sign him? I still don't think that's going to be the case. And that's actually what we're going to talk about on the second segment today, is why I just really find it hard to believe that Sam Darnold's going to, one, I don't know if he's I think he would have some interest in returning, obviously. Great support system, great head coach, got great weapons. On the field, it makes a lot of sense. But just the drama that would come with him returning to the Vikings, because also us fans, would we be all in? Would we buy into Sam Darnold like we did last season where we were all rallying around him? If he has one bad game, I know how – and I got to get better at this, being so reactionary. But I know I would be calling for J.J. McCarthy immediately. I know fans would be calling for McCarthy immediately. I just think it would give some unnecessary drama to this Vikings locker room where we have been drama-free over the last couple of seasons under Kevin O'Connell. So we just hit 61 likes. We're going to dive into the great news around the Vikings free agency period. If you guys are ready to go, just hit me with a SKOL down below in the live chat, and we'll dive into it. But super excited to talk about this. A lot of news breaking in the NFL world today, so a little just a news roundup for you guys. Shout out to Hamboyan. Shout out to Z Cool. Shout out to Aaron, Sandy, Jackson, Corey, Cole, Ouellette in the chat. What's up, Cole? Big supporter last week. We appreciate you. Mason, Ryan, Minecraft, and Nerds in the house. Cohen Banks in the building. Dean Michaels. We got 190 people in the building. If you guys are ready to roll, let's dive into today's show. We got a triple dose of great news around the Minnesota Vikings to break down on today's show. What's going on, everybody? My name is Patrick Siepman, and welcome into Vikings Now by Chat Sports. So coming up on today's show, do the Vikings have less competition in free agency after these certain moves are made by an NFC North rival? We'll break that down. Then also, we got 2 updates around Drew Dalman, which is great for the Minnesota Vikings, and then also Patrick McCarthy. So some great news specifically on the interior of the offensive line. But let's start off with the first dose of great news on today's show. And you may be saying, Patrick, how is this great news? Our division rival just traded for one of the best offensive guards in the National Football League. And if you guys didn't see the news earlier today, the Kansas City Chiefs received a 4th-round pick in 2026, not 25, for Joe Thuney. Now, the Bears, they were, well known to be high up on guys like Trey Smith before he got tagged and extended by the Chiefs. Also very high on some of these other interior offensive linemen. So they picked up Joe Thuney, but also a day before, they picked up Jonah Jackson. They traded a 2025 6th-round pick for Jonah Jackson. So the Bears, they got their 2 starting offensive guard now. Those are locked in. So they are out on guys like Will Fries, Patrick McCarthy. Now, could they still be in on a guy like Drew Dahlman? Probably. But I've also seen Vikings fans freaking the hell out on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, whatever it is, saying, how could Kwesi not trade one of these draft picks and go land a Joe Thuney? I understand giving up a 2026 4th was definitely in the cards for the Minnesota Vikings. But everybody relax. The Vikings are in no position to trade for anybody right now. They only have 4 picks in this year's upcoming draft. Like, were you willing to give up, like, this year's 5th rounder for Joe Thuney? I might have been 110%, but still, I just think the Vikings were thinking, we're just in no position to trade for any interior offensive lineman or trade for anybody right now. We'll go attack that in free agency, but everybody just take a deep breath. The Vikings are still in a great spot. And I just think everybody just wants the Vikings to make a move. The moves will come. Free agency starts next week, and the Vikings will be active. But before we dive into the rest here, I want to give you guys an updated look at our free agency sub-battle is what we're calling it. So we started this week on Monday, and we are taking on Bears now, division rival, the back-to-back-to-back offseason champion, the Chicago Bears. Well, they have picked up 213 subs since Monday. We have picked up 172. If you guys could help us out, hit that subscribe button, lock us in. Do not miss a thing around your Minnesota Vikings. It's going to be a crazy next couple of weeks, so please, please, please go down there, hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications. Don't miss a thing around your Minnesota Vikings. So why is it great news? Well, the Bears trading for 2 interior offensive linemen means that the Vikings will have less competition in free agency. Just call a spade here, because the Bears, they're not going to be in on guys like Will Fries anymore. They're not going to be in on guys like Patrick McCarthy. Obviously, they're really, really big on Trey Smith. Apparently, came down to Chicago or Kansas City for Trey Smith and his camp. But I think this takes out some competition at the interior of the offensive line. And now I think there's only 4 teams that are really going to be willing to toss big money. Like, obviously, there will be teams in, like, the Kevin Zeitler and Brandon Scherf market where, it's just a 1-year, $8, $9, $10 million deal. But right now, I think the top competitors to sign some of the best interior offensive linemen in free agency, number 1, by far, the New England Patriots. They have the most money to spend in free agency. They have a rookie quarterback. They're going to want to protect him. Then you got number 2, the Arizona Cardinals. They got some good tackles, but the interior of their offensive line stinks. They also got the same situation with the Las Vegas Raiders. And then the Giants are just thrown in there. Apparently got some interest in Will Fries. I don't know how likely it is, but still, they will be tossing money to an interior offensive lineman. So here's where the Vikings competition remains. But they also got more great news. Apparently, the Falcons of Atlanta are bracing to lose center Drew Dahlman in free agency. This was coming in from Jeremy Fowler, which is just fantastic news for the Minnesota Vikings, because I do think Drew Dahlman would have had some interest in returning to Atlanta if they would have offered him a good enough deal. But he probably sees the market. He probably sees his contract projections being anywhere between $16, $17, $18 million, and he's probably thinking to himself, I got to go hit free agency. So where does that lead the Minnesota Vikings? Well, if you cut Garrett Bradbury, that saves you $5.2 million. And if you are all in on Drew Dahlman and you really believe he can be the center of the future for J.J. McCarthy, then I think cutting Garrett Bradbury is an easy decision. Because still, yet again, this past season, one of the worst interior offensive linemen, just one of the worst centers in the National Football League. PFF, 33rd out of 64. Pass block, he was 55th out of 64 guys. Run block, pretty solid. 14th overall out of 64 eligible centers. But still, I would go all in on a guy like Drew Dahlman, because Drew Dahlman, is just straight up better than Garrett Bradbury. And yes, Drew Dalman will be a hefty price tag in free agency. But if you just take that $5.2 million you're getting from cutting Garrett Bradbury, attach it to Drew Dalman's contract, I think that's the best way to do it. But Dalman, over the last 4 years of his NFL career, he's just been consistent. I mean, you guys see the PFF grades on screen right now. Only 1 year he had below a 70 grade, and that was 65.9 back in 2022. But specifically the last 2 years, this guy's been awesome, and especially in the run block game, which is definitely something the Vikings need to improve. But 90 overall in 23, 79.8 overall in 2024. Has been battling some injuries over the last 2 years, but it's nothing serious enough where I'd be wary of giving him a contract like this. So right now, PFF has his contract projection slated as this. It's going to be a 4-year deal for $56 million. Average annual salary comes out to about $14 million. Guaranteed money at $30 million, so you would have an out after year 2 of this contract. But I'll ask you guys this. Would you do this deal? Are you giving Drew Dalman a 4-year, $56 million deal? Curious to see what you guys got to say about this. Would you do it? Give me a Y for yes or give me an N for no if you would sign Drew Dalman to a 4-year, $56 million deal. I'm doing it. 110%. Why not? Like, this has been an issue for the Vikings for way too long. Crazy. Anybody who's in the Vikings front office who is watching this video, go attack Drew Dalman in free agency. Give him that 14, 15, even give him up to $18 million per year, because the Vikings, they need an upgrade at that center position. You have J.J. McCarthy starting in his NFL career. I don't want Garrett Bradbury manning that offensive line. I understand he's a great communicator. He has been part of this, system for a long time, so he knows it better than Drew Dalman, but also Drew Dalman just played with Zach Robinson this past season, Sean McVay disciple, same with Kevin O'Connell, so he would be able to pick up on the system pretty quickly, but I'm doing it. I'm 110% giving Drew Dalman the bag here in free agency. But let's kick it to the last dose of great news for the Minnesota Vikings. You guys gotta stay with me for this one. So, Slick Rick, at Slick Rick Scoops. You see this Twitter account right here. So he tweeted out, the Ravens and Ronnie Stanley have the framework of a deal in place and an extension should be finalized soon. The Pro Bowl left tackle will not be hitting free agency and will remain in Baltimore. So you're probably saying, who the hell is Slick Rick and what does this mean for the Minnesota Vikings? Well, first off on Slick Rick, he's his Twitter account. He's got around 10, 11,000 followers right now. He was big last year during the NFL offseason. But I don't know who this guy is, but he has a connection to somebody in the National Football League because he has broken the Osa Odigizua contract extension with the Cowboys early. He broke the Raiders giving Max Crosby the bag early. Like, this guy has been on top of it. And, him saying that Ronnie Stanley and the Ravens are working out on a deal, I think that likely means that the Ravens are probably going to have to let Patrick McCarthy walk because they are in cap hell right now. I think they only have around $7 million to spend. So if you extend Ronnie Stanley, I think that leaves Patrick McCarthy, no doubt hitting the free agent market here. And here are his career PFF grades. Just been consistent. Like, this isn't a guy where it's like a blue chipper like a Trey Smith where he has graded out so well over the last couple of years, and it's like a no doubt home run signing for the Vikes, but still, he's been consistent. He's always been better in the pass blocking department, which is great for the guard spot. And I would be all in on this guy being a pickup for the Vikings. And you could get him on kind of a steal. Like, if this is the contract the Vikings signed Patrick McCarthy to, sign me up. This dude is a badass. He is a violent football player. And the contract projection of 3 years, $20.63 million with only $11 million being guaranteed. I am all in on this deal for the Minnesota Vikings. So let's just play this hypothetical here. Let's say the Vikings go get Drew Dalman. He's the center of the future. They go get Patrick McCarthy. He'll play right guard for the next couple of years. Then you're probably asking yourself, well, where the Vikings go at left guard? I think Blake Brandel has a good chance to be the starting left guard this next season. Now, I want to show you guys, because this is something I kind of noticed on the eye test after Darisaw got injured. I really saw Blake Brandel's play take a huge step back. So I went back, I calculated all the numbers, and here's how it shakes out. His PFF grades before the injury, 63.1 overall, 63.8 in the pass block, 65.6 in the run block. Nothing fantastic, but still, that production you will take out of your left guard. only allowed 2 sacks, only allowed 10 pressures. But then after Darrisaw got hurt, he was a train wreck. I mean, a 53.7 overall grade, 59.3 in the pass block, 58.6 in the run block, 5 sacks allowed, and 31 pressures. So clearly, Christian Darrisaw had a big impact. And I think with Darrisaw returning from injury, I would be cool with Blake Brandel at left guard if you're able to sign a big-name right guard. Like, if truly the Vikings' plans here are to go get him Patrick McCarthy or Will Fries, and then they run with Drew Dahlman at center, and then you got Blake Brandel at left guard, I'll tell you what, guys, this is my dream offensive line. Like, I would love this for the Minnesota Vikings. If this is how you are leaving free agency, I am a huge fan of this. If you got Darrisaw, Brian O'Neill, man in the tackle position, then you got a solid interior with McCarthy, Drew Dahlman, Blake Brandel, that would be amazing pickups for the Minnesota Vikings. But overall, guys, get ready. Free agency is going to be awesome. Vikings got the 7th most money to spend here in free agency and in effective spending. So they're going to be active in the free agent market, and I just cannot wait, man. It's going to be a movie. Make sure you guys are subscribed because we're actually going live for free agency Monday at 10 o'clock Central Time. So subscribe. Don't miss a thing. And also, if you guys want to pick up a little J.J. McCarthy jersey before free agency begins, we got a sweet deal going on for you guys right now. Head to chatsports.com/Vikings jersey. Go pick up those number 9 jerseys because they're going to be hot in US Bank Stadium this upcoming year. So check it out. Link for that is in the comments section and description of today's show. But that's the link, chatsports.com/Vikings jersey. Go pick up a J.J. McCarthy jersey today. Trust me, you guys are going to want to get one. He'll be the quarterback of the future, hopefully for a very long time with the Minnesota Vikings. So go pick up a J.J. McCarthy jersey today. And also, on the way out, if you guys want the Vikings to go big in free agency, just hit me with a SKOL down below in the comment section. It's going to be a very exciting time, man. If you want to send a message to the front office, just hit me with a SKOL down below. And also hit me up on Twitter. That's a handle, @PatSieps. Give me a follow over there, and I'll give you guys a follow right back. But thank you guys so much for watching today's show. We'll see you guys next time. As always, SKOL Vikes. Alrighty, what's going on, everyone? Hamboyan in the chat saying SKOL. Jeremy Armstrong in the building giving me a SKOL. Shout out to you. Yeah, what you guys think of that dream offensive line? I thought it was pretty telling, though. Blake Brandel's stats falling off, the face. I want to say it was a complete fall off, but definitely took a step back in production. And it makes me just think that the Vikings are cool with rolling with Blake Brandel as their starting left guard. But we'll see how it plays out. I mean, free agency is going to be a ton of fun. It is going to be a ton of fun. Piano saying SKOL. Shout out to you, Piano. Spamming it in there. Shout out to you, real one. Cohen saying we need to take Kevin Zeitler instead of Blake Brandel. Listen, I'd be down for that. Like, I'm not saying Blake Brandel is my dream left guard for the Vikings. Like, it would be Kevin Zeitler. No doubt about that. But I just don't know if you're going to be able to pay 3 interior offensive linemen. Like, if you get Drew Dahlman, you get McCarthy or Will Fries, then I think probably Blake Brandel has a good chance of being the starting left guard. And then you could also go pay a guy like Milton Williams. You could go pay another cornerback instead of paying another left guard. But that's just what I think. But shout out to Jettis Prods and Joey Tana in the live chat right now. Now, if you guys got a question for me, we'll be getting into a mailbag in about 20 minutes or so. So get those questions in there. #Vikings. Or if you guys want to super chat, like we did have one super chat today from Julius Grover. Shout out to Julius. But if you guys could support the show, sending a super chat is a great way to do so. We always appreciate it. But I'll tell you what, we'll have some fun super chat items this week in free agency. It's gonna be a blast here. So if you guys got a question for me, get those in the live chat right now. #Vikings or super chat to get up on today's show. And then we'll be diving into a segment about the Vikings quarterback plan because it is all over the place, guys. The reporting has been a joke. It is just truly all over the place. So we'll dive into that here in a sec. Jettis Prod saying, hey, I got to get going. See you later. Jettis, tune in on Monday. We'll be live for free agency a couple hours before. So if you could, tune in then. Shout out to Hamboyan. Or Hambonin, getting a question in there. Would you draft Jahdae Barron 110%? I don't know if he's going to fall to the Vikes, though. Piano saying J.J. McCarthy is perfect. What does the press know? We'll dive into that here in a second. We are going to do a deep dive here. Get on those detective hats because we're going to really break this down. Gerald in the building, shout out to you. But, hey, we're at 84 likes right now. If we just get one more like, we'll start today's segment. Just need one more of you guys hit that thumbs up icon, and we'll dive into it. Corey saying, would you rather have Carlton Davis or DJ Reed replace / partner Byron Murphy? I'd rather have DJ Reed be the partner for Byron Murphy, but if I had to choose one to replace him, I would probably go Carlton Davis. Big fan of Carlton Davis. He's a stud. As there we go. We got our one more like. Yeah, if you guys are ready to talk about the Vikings quarterback plan, let's dive into it. Did Kevin O'Connell just leak the Vikings plan at the quarterback position on a podcast he recently joined? Well, we're going to break it down on today's show. My name is Patrick Siepman, and welcome in to Vikings Now by Chat Sports. Everybody, put your detective hats on. We are going to break down and deep dive into what is going to happen for the Vikings at the quarterback position because reports are all over the board. But first, this is what Kevin O'Connell had to say on Sam Darnold, which was very interesting. This was on the Ryan Fitzpatrick podcast, saying he's earned the right to be a free agent. What I mean by that is I never earned the right to be a free agent, to be somebody that multiple teams are vying for. That's a good thing. Less than a year ago, I remember Sam was a free agent. And we were able to bring him to Minnesota on a one-year deal with a vision for him. And the outcome of that vision is exactly where we are now. People think Sam Darnold can play quarterback in the NFL. And they should. Because over the course of a long season, he showed he's capable of reaching his truest potential. Now, I swear, I have heard this before. Especially the part of he's earned the right to be a free agent. Because if you guys remember, Kevin O'Connell and Kwesi pretty much said the same thing last season. And this is what Kwesi had to say on Kirk Cousins. Yeah, I think I've been pretty consistent with that. Kirk is somebody that, as we saw what he does to this team, I thought we were playing really good football before he got injured. And it's the most important position in sports. Now, ultimately, it always comes down to, can you find an agreement that works for both sides? This is the exact same thing with Darnold and all those things. But as a player, it's certainly my intention to have him back here. He has earned the right to be a free agent. Now, if we remember, Kevin O'Connell last year, March 2nd, 2024, Kevin O'Connell, Kirk Cousins has earned the right to be a free agent. What does that say? February 7th, 2025, Kevin O'Connell, Sam Darnold has earned the right to be a free agent. We will keep talking. I swear I am having deja vu from where we were this time last season. But you maybe ask yourself, why are the Vikings, throwing it out there that they have some interest in bringing back Sam Darnold? Well, I think the Vikings are just doing right by Darnold with leaking these reports. I think this is coming directly from the Vikings organization where they are telling these big-time NFL insiders, like, yeah, we got all types of interest in re-signing Sam Darnold. Why wouldn't we? He won 14 games. He had 35 touchdowns last season. I just think the Vikings are doing him a kind of good service here because let's just say hypothetically, Darnold, he was hitting free agency, and then the Vikings pretty much came out and said, hey, man, we got no interest in re-signing you. We're going to go in a different direction at the quarterback position. I could see other teams looking at that and being like, well, the Vikings are a really well-run organization. Why do they not want to bring back Sam Darnold? I think the Vikings are just kind of trying to do right here by Darnold, but I just think it's, I just think it's the Vikings front office leaking these reports. I don't think it's Sam Darnold's camp. I think it is truly the Minnesota Vikings leaking these, but also I thought this was hilarious. This was coming in from, this is from last year when Ian Rappaport was on NFL Network, and you guys see the lower third right there saying Vikings hope to re-sign Kirk Cousins, but will face competition. Now, this is the exact same thing we're hearing about Sam Darnold, but listen, this is a big offseason for the Minnesota Vikings. You guys just quickly let me know if you trust the Vikings front office, hit that thumbs up icon to make the right decision, or if you guys don't trust them, comment why you don't trust them down below in the comment section. But I do want to play with you guys a clip real quick of Kwesi talking about Sam Darnold.
Yeah, it's tough. I was telling my staff if I could have thought of a brain teaser of an experiment to think through, that would have been a pretty tough one where, Pro Bowl quarterback, win all those games, and then you lose to two teams twice. And so that was really kind of the core of our offseason, really thinking through that holistically, being really not trying to be overweighted by those 8 quarters, but not not underweighting those last 2 games. And really, he played a lot of good football for us. Year 1 in the system, so you can expect more later. And so we're excited at the potential for Sam, whatever that ends up being. But it's a tough exercise. But I want to make sure that we're continuing saying we're so proud of what he did for us. We're so proud of this team. It didn't end the way we wanted it to, but a lot of good things happened. We've continued to lay the foundation for the team we want to be, and we'll continue to go forward.
I think I 100% agree with Kwesi on that. This is truly one of the most unique situations in NFL history, where you bring in a bridge quarterback for a rookie quarterback, and the rookie quarterback tears his meniscus. He's out for the whole season. And then the guy you brought in on a 1-year deal leads you to 14 wins. You're playing for the number 1 seed in the entire conference in Week 18, but then it completely fizzled out during the last 2 weeks. It's truly one of the most unique situations we have ever seen in NFL history, talking about the quarterback position. But I will stand by this. Sam Darnold won't return to the Vikes. I'm pretty confident in that. I just think the Vikings are in a different position right now than they were this time last year when talking about Kirk Cousins, because this time last year we didn't have J.J. McCarthy waiting in the reins. I just think this is gamesmanship by the Vikings. I don't think if you really asked Kevin O'Connor or you really asked Kwesi, and they gave you a 100% God-honest truth answer, and you said, are you bringing back Sam Darnold? I guarantee you they would probably say 99% no to that answer. But why Darnold won't return? I got 5 reasons for you guys. Number 1, it limits free agent spending. And the Vikings know this because the Vikings are where their kind of cap situation is set up right now. And with the NFL cap booming this year, getting up to, I think the final number was $280 million or just around that figure. And then also with the cap going to go up in a ton in the years 28, 29, and 2030. This is a big year for free agency spending for the Vikes. But, I've seen a lot of people, and listen, I've thrown this figure out there. We're let's just say Darnold agrees for a 2-year, $40 million deal, fully guaranteed. Well, then the Vikings could potentially spend a lot in free agency. I disagree, because if you sign them to that $40 million deal, and let's just say even if you lower the cap hit in 25 and 26 to $15 million a pop, and then you even create 2 void years with dead cap in 27 and 28, you would then have $47.8 million to spend, especially if Byron Murphy Jr. gets that extension for around $17 million. That number is all the way down already at around $30 million. And plus Aaron Jones, also these other guys like Jihad Ward who are going to get around $2-3 million. The Vikings wouldn't be able to spend big at all in free agency. And number 2 for me, it would create drama. I think, honestly, that should probably be the number 1 reason why the Vikings don't bring back Darnold. It's just because of the drama it would bring. I can't underestimate, how much of a noisy training camp the Vikings would have if Darnold returns. Because you know how much of a close eye I'm going to have on training camp, where I'm looking at every throw from J.J. McCarthy, every throw from Sam Darnold, and we're going to be saying if J.J. McCarthy, if he balls out in preseason, for example, or he balls out in training camp and he looks like the guy, we'll all be sitting there saying, man, why did we pay Sam Darnold that contract? So that's why I don't think it's going to happen. And also, what if Darnold struggles early? The Vikings got a brutal schedule next season. You got the AFC North. Let's just say you start off with, the Ravens, Bengals, and you go Lions, Packers or something, and you're 1-3 or whatever your record would be, and Darnold's struggling, and then J.J. McCarthy takes the reins. That's just a drama there that is unnecessary. And then you would be paying $15 million for a backup, and, you would just be really limiting your ceiling, which we'll talk about that more here in a second. But also, why Darnold won't return. What about Darnold's interest? Like, think about this from his perspective, because obviously I think Darnold views the Vikings as the best place he can succeed. And maybe Darnold just believes in his game that much, where it's like, hey, they just got to give me a chance one more year, and I'm going to prove to them yet again I can be the guy. But let's just call a spade here. I think the fan base would be rooting for J.J. McCarthy to start. I mean, I know I would a little bit. I would be pounding the table to start number 9 at some point next season. Why would Darnold want that? Why would he want a fan base who is not fully bought in to him being the quarterback? Why would he want to go to a situation like that? Now, maybe he just says, hey, I'm going to go ball out, and I'm going to prove these fans wrong who all want J.J. McCarthy to start. That could definitely be in play here, because he's probably thinking, yeah, if I go throw the Jefferson, Addison, I get Darisaw back, they go have a pickup at the interior of their offensive line. Man, I could go, win 14 games again and potentially get, to an NFC championship game. But I just don't know if Darnold would want that, considering this fan base will be all over J.J. McCarthy next season. But you guys pick a quarterback for me. Who are you rolling with? If you have the decision, Kwesi calls you and he says, hey, so-and-so, I need you to pick a quarterback for me. Give me a number 9 for J.J. McCarthy. Give me a 14 for Sam Darnold. I'm all in on number 9. I want to see a lot of 9s in the comments section. I will be going down there on my personal account and probably spamming number 9. So you guys pick a quarterback for me. Give me a 9 or give me a 14. No, dive in the more around J.J. McCarthy and Sam Darnold here in a second. But first, got to tell you guys about today's sponsor, and that is Prize Picks. Now, if you guys download the Prize Picks app today and plug in promo code CLNS, you guys will get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Now, what is Prize Picks? Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. Now, if you guys want to make a Timberwolves or Wild game more interesting, Prize Picks is the number one way to do so. Set a lineup, watch it, follow it throughout the entire event. Even if the game's a blowout, it is still a ton of fun to follow your Prize Picks lineup. So download the app today. One last time, use that promo code CLNS. To get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Download the Prize Picks app today. Plug in that promo code CLNS. Get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. A massive shout out to Prize Picks for sponsoring today's edition of Vikings Now by Chat Sports. Prize Picks, run your game. All right, reason number 4 why Darnold won't return, in my opinion, is because it's the most obvious one. J.J. McCarthy's rookie contract. The Vikings got to take advantage of this, because I stand by it. There's no bigger advantage in terms of roster building in the NFL than having a guy on a contract like this. Here are J.J. McCarthy's cap hits for the next 3 seasons. Next year, $4.9 million. In 26, $5.9. In 27, it's $6.9. Could you imagine this guy, if he starts in 25, has a good year, and then he's rolling into 26, he wants to take that next jump. He's on the books for $5.9 million. In 2027, imagine JJ entering that year of his rookie deal on a $6.9 million cap hit. Do you want to waste? Because let's just say you, hypothetically, you pay Sam Darnold that 2-year deal. Waste 25, you waste 26, even if JJ goes in there and plays, because you're not fully taking advantage of it. And then 2027, JJ's first time starting, do you want that to be the case? Because if you guys remember, Jordan Love, he started the last year on his rookie contract. And the Packers will only take advantage of that for 1 year. And now Jordan Love's got a ridiculous cap number over the next 4 seasons. Like, this year is not bad, $30 million. But then goes up to 36, 42. And then in 2028, he has a $74.2 million cap hit. He'll probably get restructured to switch that up. But the Packers already have a ton of dead money in years 2029 and 2030 because of this contract. And lastly here, it limits the ceiling you put on this football team. Because, listen, by no means am I saying if the Vikings bring Sam Darnold back, like, they would be a bad football team. I'm not saying that whatsoever. The Vikings would still be a very good football team with Sam Darnold under center, but they would not be a great football team. And that's the point I'm trying to make here. To win a Super Bowl, you have to take a risk. And like I've been saying, J.J. McCarthy is that risk. Now, if J.J. McCarthy is the biggest bust of all time and he is terrible for the Minnesota Vikings, then we pivot. But I could at least live with myself and live with myself as a fan, knowing this front office went all in on him, because considering you took him top 10 in the first round. Like, clearly you got some love for him being the franchise quarterback. But where else could Darnold go? If I had to call it right now, I'm still going the Las Vegas Raiders. I think the Giants are either going to get Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders. I think the Titans probably number 2 for me. I don't think the Steelers will. I don't think the Colts will. So I really think it's going to be a 2-team race between the Raiders and the Tennessee Titans. But kind of my final thoughts on this. At the end of the day, like I feel bad for Sam Darnold, just like the player and the person he is, because this was a guy who throughout the first 6 years of his NFL career, people thought he was a joke. Like the seeing ghost meme, like him just getting ridiculed on every single show year after year after year. And then finally he has an unreal season with the Vikings, and his own fan base doesn't even want him back. 14 wins, 35 touchdowns. And I'd probably say 90% of Vikings fans don't want this guy back in the building. End of the day, I feel bad for him, but you got to do what's right for the organization. I think that's letting Sam Darnold walk. But I do want to end today's show by just showing him some love, because a lot of this was, kind of dunking on him a little bit, saying why the Vikings shouldn't bring him back. But it was an awesome year last year. And if you guys could, show him our support. Type those 14s down below in the comments section. And as always, hit me up on Twitter. @PatSieps is the Twitter handle. See you guys next time. As always, SKOL Vikes. Alrighty, type those 14s. Show Sammy Darnold some love. Shout out to Alan, Hamboyan, Jacob, Gary Olson, Piano Prodigy, and T-Mac in the building. Shout out to all of you guys. Z Cool giving me a 14. Shout out to you, Z. Thanks for tuning in. It's going to be a wild, wild next couple of weeks here for the Minnesota Vikings. There is no doubt about it. It is going to be hectic. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I can't wait to break it all down with you guys. So, we'll see what happens. I saw a lot of 9s when we asked the question of pick a quarterback, so that was good to see. Abby SKOL, what's going on, Abby? #Vikings, assuming both are available at pick 24. Would you rather have the Vikings draft Nick Emanwari or Kenneth Grant? That's a great question. Also, if you guys want to get those questions up there, we'll dive into this mailbag in about 2-3 minutes or so. So if you guys got a question for me, use #Vikings or Super Chat. But Abby, to answer yours, I would probably go Kenneth Grant. I just think I want to get players closer to the football. Kenneth Grant, defensive tackle. Emanwari, he's a safety. But I will say, Emanwari with Brian Flores would be chills. Could you imagine Flores getting his hands on the safety version of DK Metcalf? Like, it would be incredible, man. This guy's 6'3", physical, fast as hell. It would be awesome. Jack Bartley saying trade Hawk, draft Loveland. That's a bold move, man. I'm going to say that's very unlikely, but I would honestly consider it. I really would. Like, if the Chargers said, hey, we'll give you pick number 22, I think they have, and Vikings could just take Loveland there, I would do it. Mason saying 14. Shout out to Sam Darnold. But, yeah, get those questions in there. #Vikings or Super Chat to get up on today's show. Only had one Super Chat rolling today. That is more than okay. But if you guys want to support the show, sending a Super Chat, great way to do so. Shout out to, I think it was Julius who sent it in. Yeah, Julius Grover sent in the only Super Chat of the day. So shout out to you, Julius. But, yeah, if you guys want to get those questions in there. Thoughts on Jonah Coleman? Not sure about Jonah Coleman. Oh, the Washington running back. Yes. Haven't really looked into him too much, if I'm being honest, but I definitely will do that after Hamboyan. You want to start the mailbag off with a question up on screen, though? Yeah, sweet. If you guys want to get those questions in there, #Vikings or Super Chat. Cohen Banks saying, is Cam Bynum going to stay, or do you think his career is over in Minnesota? I think it's over. I think Cam Bynum's going to walk. But we'll see. Would it be too prudent for the Vikings to trade down in the first but trade up in the third round, getting more picks in the process? I don't think so. I think that's definitely on the table. No doubt. As we do have some breaking news in the NFL world, not specifically with the Minnesota Vikings, But with the Dolphins and Bradley Chubb, this just coming in, the Dolphins and edge rusher Bradley Chubb have agreed to a revised contract that keeps him in Miami for the 2025 season. Chubb wanted Miami and can earn back his full salary through incentives. So a little reworking there. Tyler Lockett also got released today, and DK Metcalf requested a trade. Shout out to Cole, though, sending a $10 super chat. We appreciate you, man. Break that down here in a sec. Joey Tana giving Cole a SKOL. Yeah, if you guys could, give me a SKOL Cole down below in the comment section. That would be sweet. So Bradley Chubb staying with the Miami Dolphins. As we do have Cole coming in. What's going on, Cole? Saying, for Darnold, this essentially comes down to you better play at Mahomes' level or fans are turning on you in a heartbeat. It sucks for him, but that's just reality at this point. Yeah, 100%, man. Like, this guy, if he has one interception week 1, people are calling for his job. Like, and that's just how it is. And I feel bad for him. That's unfair for him, but that's kind of like the point I was making, Cole, of like, why do, like, besides the support system and Kevin O'Connell, and maybe that's enough to just have Darnold be interested in returning, but I just don't know if that's like the best interest for him, considering if he has a bad 2 weeks, he's getting benched. Where if the Vikings go on a 2-game losing streak, and it's very similar to how the Lions and the Rams game ended, he is getting benched. Cole, I 100% agree with you. I'll break this down a little bit more in the mailbag, so shout out to you. We also got my man, Z Cool, coming in. What up, Z? Saying, given the strength of our brass in SKOL Nation, along with some prime players, do you see us making the Super Bowl in the next 1 to 5 years? Oh, Z Cool. You obviously know I'm going to say yes to this. I think J.J. McCarthy is going to be the guy that gets the Vikings to their first Super Bowl since it's about in the 70s, last time the Vikings made one. But, yeah, I mean, obviously I can't give a definite answer. Anything can happen. But I do think the next 1 to 5 years is the Super Bowl window. I think Kwesi has made that clear. I think this team has made that clear, that they are going to try to go all in on the next 1 to 5 years. So I'm with you. You got some players that are entering their prime, or if not already in their prime. Like, you think about Darisaw and Jefferson, for example, 2 best players on the team. They are going to be playing their best football next season. Maybe Darisaw will take a little bit, just coming back from that torn up ACL and MCL. But, I mean, Jefferson is entering his prime. Addison's going to be better. Like, you got a bunch of young players on this team who are hitting their prime. Like, even a guy like Jonathan Grenard, man. So, yeah, Z Cool, I'm with you. The Super Bowl window is definitely in the next 1 to 5 years for the Minnesota Vikings. We appreciate you, Cohen, for getting a question in there. Same with Abby SKOL. Shout out to all of you guys. Hamboynen saying Jonah Coleman is a beast, stiff-armed Abdul Carter and Will Johnson. All right, so you gave me some homework tonight, Hamboynen. I will go check him out. Jonah Coleman. I will go do that. Jaden Berry, what's going on, man? Welcome in. As in Corey Miller coming in with a $5 super chat. We appreciate you, Corey. Shout out to you. Minnesota Sports Talk with Al Smith saying, what quarterback would you start your team with? Vic, Manning, McNabb, or Josh Allen? I think it would be Josh Allen or Peyton Manning. I mean, I'm younger. I mean, obviously I got to watch most of Peyton's career, but I think I would go Josh Allen. Yeah, I think I would go Allen over Peyton Manning if I had to start your team. Great question, though. Minnesota Sports Talk with Al Smith. Yeah, either Manning or Josh Allen. I mean, Michael Vick and Donovan McNabb, like, they were sweet in their prime, but I just think Josh Allen and Peyton Manning are just on a way, way, way different level. Corey Miller, what's going on, man? Saying, would you take Eamon Worry with first-round pick? If not, who would be your number one priority? Would I take him? 110%. If you guys don't know, Nick Eamon Worry, he had one of the craziest combines in NFL history. Let me just pull up his RAS here real quick, or his RAS score. He had a perfect 10. He ran a 4.38 40. He was 6'3", 220 pounds. He hit the bench press 20 times. He had a 43-inch vert, an 11. or a 1.56 10-yard split, a 2.57 20-yard split, 32.5-inch arms. Like, I mean, this guy's unbelievable. And plus, I think Flores would be, I mean, if you had the, like, I'm sure if you had to pick him, like, hey, Eamon Warrior, where would you want to go in free agent or get drafted to? I bet you the Vikings would be on that short list, personally, for Eamon Warrior. But besides him, who would be your number one priority? I got to stay with it, man. I've been saying Kenneth Grant for a very, very long time, but I think he's got a chance to fall to the Vikes. I tell you what, though, if they're sitting there at pick 24 and they trade out of that pick and Kenneth Grant's on the board, it will give me like Kyle Hamilton vibes when the Vikings traded back from 12 to go get Lewis Cine at like 30 something. But Cool, what's going on? Give us your dream team. Front offensive line with only active players. So you're saying like throughout the entire NFL, Cool? If you could let me know real quick in the live chat, you're saying like for the Minnesota Vikings specifically. Yes, pick them. Alrighty. All right, left tackle, Christian Darrisaw, obviously. I'll go Darrisaw left tackle. Right tackle, I'm going to go Penei Sewell. I think those are my two obvious ones. If I wasn't going Darrisaw, I'd still probably go Trent Williams. Right guard, I would go Trey Smith. I think I would go Trey Smith on that. Or who was the? Yeah, I'd probably go Trey Smith right guard. I'd go Creed Humphrey center. So I'm taking the Chiefs interior. Left guard, probably go Quentin Nelson still. I think when he's playing his best, he is just unbelievable. Trying to think, who is the Eagles left guard this season? Because they had Mekhi Becton at right guard. I'm sleeping on his. Oh, Landon Dickerson. Yeah, I might go Landon Dickerson left guard. Quentin Nelson will bump him over the right guard. Creed Humphrey center. Penei Sewell right tackle, and I'll go Christian Darrisaw left tackle. That's a very fun question. Cool, appreciate you. Yeah, no, it was. I was sleeping on Landon Dickerson's name there. But yeah, that's what I would go as my dream team offensive lineman. You got to roll with Darrisaw though, right? I mean, come on. Darrisaw is my guy. Maybe that's a jersey I got to get. Maybe I got to get a 71 Darrisaw jersey. Cool, appreciate you, man. Fun question. We'll definitely we'll talk about that a little more here. But, hey, we're going to dive into this mailbag. Again, if you guys want to get your last-minute questions up on screen while we're in it, if you guys send in a super chat while we're in the middle of this cut, we'll toss it up on screen right away. But, again, last-minute questions, get those hashtag Vikings in there. Would you rather draft Grant or Barron? Kenneth Grant, baby. But let's dive into this mailbag right now. What's going on, Vikings fans? Welcome into Vikings Now by Chat Sports. My name is Patrick Siepman, and it is my favorite show I do here every single week where we answer your guys' questions as a part of our mailbag. And we're starting off with the man of the hour, Joey Tana, saying, hashtag Vikings. It was my birthday 2 days ago. Everybody type those HBDs for Joey down below in the comment section on March 3rd. Also, who do you want, Walter Nolan or Tyler Booker? SKOL Vikings. Great question there, Joey. This is kind of a cop-out answer for you, Joey, but it really just depends on what the Vikings do in free agency. Like, if you go get Patrick McCarthy, Drew Dahlman, Will Fries, and you're able to shore up that right guard spot, then I probably don't have a ton of interest in Tyler Booker, but also on the polar opposite side of things. Like, if you go out there and get a Milton Williams, then I probably don't have too much interest in Walter Nolan. If it was just between those two prospects, like in a vacuum, who do I like more? It's Walter Nolan. This defensive tackle class is ridiculous. So, yeah, I go Walter Nolan. But, Joey, great question. It just kind of comes down to free agency. I think that's the best answer there. Hambonin, what's going on, man? Saying, hashtag Vikings. Would you want to draft Jahdae Barron? 110%. I think this guy would be a great scheme fit with Brian Flores, and this guy was a athletic freak at the scouting combine. His RAS score was 9 flat. He is 5'10". He ran a 4.39 40-yard dash. He had a 1.52 10-yard split. Had a 35-inch vertical. He's just an athletic freak, very versatile guy. I don't know if he'll fall to pick 24. I think it was Dane Brugler who in his latest mock draft had Barron falling to the Minnesota Vikings. I think it's unlikely, but, if the Vikings, like if they shore up their interior offensive line, they go get a D tackle, oh, dude, Jahdae Barron, sign me up for him being the selection at pick 24 for the Vikes. Z Cool, what's going on, man? $10 super chat saying, give us your dream team front offensive line with only active players. So out of the whole league here, I'm going left tackle, Minnesota's very own Christian Darrisaw at the left tackle. At the left guard spot, this is where I had, as we were talking about this live, left guard, I think I'm going to go Landon Dickerson of the Philadelphia Eagles. And then at the center spot, we'll go Creed Humphrey. And then we're going to take Quentin Nelson, and we're going to put him at right guard. He will be, because he normally plays left. And then I think the best offensive lineman in the league, hate giving the Lions love, but it is Penei Sewell. So I'll go Darrisaw, Dickerson, Creed Humphrey, Quentin Nelson, Penei Sewell. We would not lose any games with that offensive line. Honestly, Z Cool, if I kind of wanted to be an asshole to you, I would just say, give me the Eagles offensive line. They have an unbelievable five, but yeah, I'd probably go that for my dream team offensive line. Abby SKOL, what's going on? Hashtag Vikings. Assuming both are available at pick 24, would you rather have the Vikings draft Nick Emanwari or Kenneth Grant? So if you guys have been watching the show all offseason, Kenneth Grant has been my guy. He has been my number one, dream Vikings draft target. And I would love for him to be the selection, but kind of like I was just saying, let's just say they go pick up a Milton Williams, then Nick Emanwari becomes so interesting to me because this guy, he had a perfect 10 RAS score, and he was awesome, like 6'3". He had like 20 reps on the bench. He ran like a 4.39, like truly one of the freakiest athletes we have ever seen. Like he's really just the DK Metcalf at the safety position, and I think Brian Flores, if you ask Flores who would you rather have, since these are both defensive players, I think Flores would say Emanwari. I think he is, like if you ask Flores, like behind, closed doors here, like who do you want the Vikings to draft? I bet you Emanwari is his number one choice, but we'll see how it plays out, Abby. Mason, first time ever, sending a super chat. Appreciate you, Mason. Everybody go show Mason some love. Give me a SKOL Mason down below in the comment section. But Mason says, Vikings want a running back earlier in the draft, but the top 3 running backs are gone. Who are you taking? Okay, love this, Mason. Shout out to you. So I'm going to go Ashton Genty. He's number 1 for me. I think Omarion Hampton, pretty well regarded as the second best running back. And then I think third, I've seen Caleb Johnson, but also I've seen Travion Henderson up there. So we'll just, for this experiment, we'll do Travion, Genty, Hampton. They're all gone. Who am I taking? Caleb Johnson. If the Vikings could either land Caleb Johnson or Travion Henderson in this draft, I'm all in on it. But I want all of you guys to go do some homework right now. Go watch Ollie Gordon. I know he was a big name coming into this year, really took a step back in the 2024 season. But this guy, I am telling you, he just screams like January football. Like he's a super tall running back. He really reminds me of a guy like Latavius Murray a little bit. Physical. You could get him in either like the 5th or the 6th round. He's kind of becoming my guy as like a late day 3 running back pick. Or how about this? Shout out to Ham Boynan in the chat saying, Jonah Coleman. I will go do some homework on Jonah Coleman. But, guys, seriously, go watch Ollie Gordon tonight. He's unbelievable. I would really love him to be the pick for the Minnesota Vikings. But, hey, if you guys could, name a random Vikings player down below in the comments section. One of my favorite things I asked you guys to do. I was saying Phil Loldholt, producer Dylan said Trey Waynes. I love that one. If I had to give you another one here, I'll go shout out to the 5'7" cornerback legend, Terrence Newman, Zimmer's guy. But if you guys could, name a random Vikings player down below. Davey OG, what's going on, man? Yes, long time no see indeed, Seeps. How you doing? He's saying, my biggest fear is Kwesi trading our first again for more picks that turn out to be duds. Yeah, I hear you. And plus, I would be sick to my stomach if this is like a Kyle Hamilton situation where the Vikings were picking 12. Hamilton was on the board. They traded back, drafted Lewis Cine, and obviously Lewis Cine was, one of the bigger busts in NFL history. But, if I had to kind of come back at you a little bit, Davey, here, I would say the Vikings only have 4 picks. If you could get a lot more draft capital, for that first-round pick, I'd be open to it. But I wouldn't want the Vikings trading past pick like 50. Like, if you're trading off that first-rounder, like maybe it's back to pick 39 and you pick up like another second or another third or something like that, then I would be open to it. But I hear you, because if like a guy like Eamon Warrior, Kenneth Grant, or one of these guys where I'm a big fan of them potentially heading to the Vikes is on the board and you trade back, I'll be pretty sick. But Davey OG, thank you so much for supporting the show, as always. Cohen Banks, what's going on, Banks? Hashtag Vikings. Do you think Addison's suspension will make the Vikings trade him? No, I don't think it will make the Vikings trade him, but I wonder if that's a conversation they're having behind closed doors right now. Because let me just ask you guys this. The New England Patriots, they have a huge need at the wide receiver spot. What if they call you and they say, hey, we'll give you our second rounder for Addison? It's like pick 35. Are you guys doing that? Like, would you consider trading Addison for pick 35 in this year's NFL draft? I'm still saying no to that, but let's just say the Vikings kind of got inside info where Addison's suspension could potentially be like 4 or 5 games. Maybe they're talking about it, but I don't think like the suspension is going to be the thing that like forces them over the top. And it's like, oh, Addison suspended 4 games. Like, we got to move on. Like, they know all the off-the-field issues that's going on there. I think Addison's going to turn it around. Like, I don't really think this character concern stuff. Honestly, I think it's kind of bullshit when people say that about Addison. He's a young kid. He's figuring it out. And I got all types of faith in him, figuring it out here in the NFL. Minecraft and Nerds. Shout out to you, Minecraft, one of the best games of all time. Saying, what do you think about trading back into the early second round draft of the Kentucky DB and drafting an RB from early round pick you got from the trade? So you're saying trading back into the early second round to draft Maxwell Hairston, the Kentucky DB, who actually ran the fastest 40 at the combine of 4.29. And then you would draft a running back early round pick you got from the trade. Yeah, if it works out like that, I'd be in. Like, if you could somehow get 2 seconds and you take one of those seconds, you draft a Kentucky corner, and then with the other second, like, you get like a Caleb Johnson or like a Cam Scadaboo or something like that. Like, that's an avenue I would definitely love to explore for the Vikings. But, it's so funny. Like, when we're talking about the draft, we really don't know yet. Because free agency is going to tell so much. Like, if the Vikings go sign DJ Reed and they bring back Byron Murphy, then I have no interest in them drafting a corner. But if they let Murphy walk and they only bring in one other corner, like, yeah, I'd be all in on this idea. So, Minecraft and Nerds, appreciate you. Oh, geez, Cole, what is? Let's see what this is. I just saw plot twist. This is going to be fun. Hashtag Vikings, plot twist. Here we go. Vikings trade with the Titans. Take Cam Ward, pick 1, and we have a 5-man quarterback battle with Danny Dimes, Nick Mullins, Cam Ward, Sam Darnold, and J.J. McCarthy. Make things even more interesting. Cool. It would make things more interesting. That would be the craziest quarterback room in NFL history. You had you would have 3 former top 10. No, you would have 4 former top 10 picks on this unit: Jones, Ward, Darnold, and JJ, and then good old Nick Mullins. You know what would be the funniest thing about this? I don't know who would be quarterback 1 coming out of this, but Nick Mullins would be quarterback 2. Kevin O'Connell loves him some Nick Mullins. Yeah, I'm sure you're just joking about the Vikings meeting with Cam Ward at the scouting combine. But I'll tell you what, man, that would be there would be a lot to talk about on the show if that's the quarterback room. But, hey, we'll dive into more questions here in a second. Cole, you just threw me for a loop with that one, man. Shout out to you. That's awesome. But, hey, if you guys want to get a J.J. McCarthy jersey, check out this link, chatsports.com/Vikings jersey. They got a sweet deal going on right now. And if you guys want to rock those number 9 jerseys, they're sweet. I still got what Cole said on my mind right now. This could be QB5 according to Cole. But hey, on a serious note, if you guys want to check them out, head over to chatsports.com/Vikings jersey. Get yourself a J. McCarthy jersey today. Get that link in the comment section and description of today's show. Check it out. Cole, question of the year right there, my friend. All right, Minnesota Sports Talk with Al Smith saying, hashtag Vikings, what quarterback would you start your team with? Vic, Manning, McNabb, or Josh Allen? I'm assuming you're going Peyton Manning here. For me, it would be between Josh Allen and Peyton Manning. I'm 25 years old. I was still able to watch most of Manning's career, but I'd probably go Josh Allen. I think Josh Allen is one of the most talented players I've ever seen play any sport. He is just super fun to watch. He's super impactful out there. Personally for me, if you ask me, if you had to pick one player to be on the Minnesota Vikings off every single team, even over Patrick Mahomes, I would take Josh Allen. This dude's a stud. He's a gamer, one of the best quarterbacks to ever play the game of football. So I would go Josh Allen, but really fun question right there. Troy saying, #Vikings. Quasi blows this draft. Is he gone? I don't know. I want to say yes. But also, let's just say he has another ridiculous free agency class. Last year's free agency class was the best in the NFL, maybe behind the Eagles, but one of the best in the league. If he blows this, is he gone? I mean, the drafts have been terrible so far. I don't know if it's a guarantee, but if, let's just say, pick 24 and the Vikings just stay at all their picks and they're all bust, you definitely got to consider it because he would have one good draft pick over the last 4 drafts, and that would be Jordan Addison, who kind of fell into his lap at pick, 23, 22 that one season. I don't know, but it also depends on free agency for Quasi, because if he has a great free agency and this team's winning a lot of games, he'll probably get an extension. But I totally hear you, man. The drafts have been terrible. But speaking about free agency, we're only a couple of days away here, and it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot to talk about. And we'll close today's show with this. If you guys want the Vikings to go big in free agency, just hit me with the SKOL down below in the comment section. Make it look like U.S. Bank Stadium on game day for me, fellas. And also, if you guys could hit me up on Twitter, @PatSieps is a Twitter handle. Give me a follow over there, and I'll give you guys a follow right back. But thank you guys so much for watching today's show. As always, SKOL Vikes. As we got Roger Bong coming in the building. What's going on, Raj? Long time no see to you as well. We got Davey OG Chains back in the building. Roger Bong back in the building. You guys showing love today, man. You guys showing love today. We're at $66 in Super Chats right now. Roger, what's going on? If we, what would that be, 35 away? If we get to 100, I'll do a beer shotgun to close out today's show. That's my deal. You guys know I don't make a lot of deals during the off season, but you guys are showing all types of love. So if you guys want to get us to 100, we'll shotgun a beer for you. But Roger saying, just want to say hi to you and all the real ones, SKOL Vikings fam. Roger, it's always great to have you back, man. Roger, how long have we known each other now? It's got to been, 2 years since you got on the channel? I think so. Roger, you like the haircut? I decided to buzz the hair. Hopefully that was all good with you, man. But, yeah, great to have you in the building. Yeah, 2 years, Raj. Yeah, that's incredible. It's like seeing your old friends from high school. Anytime I see you in the building, man. So, really, just thank you. Hopefully all is good with you, man. Hopefully you're doing all right. Roger's saying let the beard grow. Dude, I'm trying. I'm not even kidding with you guys. This is probably about a month in. And it's just nothing. I've been really trying hard, and it's just it is not my strong suit, man. It is not my strong suit, growing beards, but hopefully that changes. Roger saying all is good. That is great to hear. Z Cool saying looking quite Amish. Z Cool, that is your 3rd strike on today's show. 3 strikes from Z Cool today, guys. Come on, man. Thoughts on the rumor of the Vikings possibly trading for either CMC or Brees? There's no rumor out there. They're trading for McCaffrey or Brees Hall. Oh, yeah. You guys are getting a kick out of Z Cool's comments, huh? Z Cool. One of a kind, man. One of a kind. That's my guy. So we appreciate you guys. I'll put just a minute shot clock on my phone. If you guys want us to stay live, we'll stay live if you guys send in a super chat, but I'll put a minute on my phone. But if not, we'll get on out of here. Appreciate all of you guys for tuning in today. We will be live Monday at 10 a.m. Central Time. If you guys are tuning in, give me a SKOL down below. It's going to be awesome. We're going to get some signings right away at 11 a.m. on Monday. I cannot wait. I feel like a little kid trying to fall asleep on Christmas Eve right now with free agency just around the corner. So tune in then Monday, 10 a.m. Give me a SKOL in the comment section if you guys will be there. Cohen's going to be in the building. Lee will be there. John Corey, Roger Bong. You already know Z Cool is going to be in the building. So please tune in then, 10 a.m. Central Time on Monday. We will be live breaking it down. Cohen saying I'm having issues sending super chat, but my Monday I'll try to fix it. Cohen, don't worry about it, man. Don't you worry about it. You know, all of you guys are sending super chats. It's just the icing on the cake here, man. Obviously, you guys don't need to do it, but it really, really does go a long way. You know, it just helps us get paid here at Chat Sports, and you guys supporting the show has really, you know, helped my career out here. So it's awesome. As Roger Bong coming in at the buzzer with a $10 super chat saying, SKOL to Z Cool, baby. Z Cool and Roger Bong. It's kind of like Wade and LeBron. Wade throwing that oop behind his shoulder and then LeBron coming in. Like, man, I can't wait. I cannot wait for Monday, guys. It is going to be so much fun. And Bowen saying Morrison or Barron. Barron. Yeah, I would definitely go Jade over him. Just because Benjamin, even though I'd love the pick of Benjamin Morrison, just a little bit more of an injury history there. And I just think Barron would be a better scheme fit with Flores. But Roger coming in saying SKOL to Z Cool. Love that, Raj. W's in the chat for Roger Bong, man. Legend here. Yeah, Raj, seriously, I hope you're all good. Miss you around the show. You know, this is the hectic time of the off season, so I know you'll be tuning in. But we're also going to be live. If it goes well on Monday, we should be live Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So it'll be a lot of fun, a lot to break down. And then who knows, even if it goes well, we could be live Thursday. But it's just going to be me and Dylan hanging out, chopping it up with you guys. We'll have some beers on deck. We'll have a good time because it's going to be a lot of just waiting around, talking about the other NFL news that's going to be out there. As Roger saying, I've been here. Shout out to you, Raj. Shout out to you. Z Cool saying, need to keep the chat fun. 100%. Z Cool's the locker room guy for us. He's kind of got you kind of got a little Chris Boyd in you, Z Cool. Hopefully you don't take offense to that. A little Chris Boyd and Z Cool. Or maybe he's a little, maybe you're a little, who was it? Brian Robinson, 96 questions. Yeah, but guys, we're going to probably sign off here. Again, if you guys are tuning in for the free agency live stream on Monday, hit me with the SKOL down below in the comments section. But really appreciate all of you guys for tuning in. It's Twisted Wizard saying, would you trade next year's first for Quentin Nelson from the Colts? That's a tough question. I think I would. I actually think I would. Twisted, great question. Yeah, I think I would do that. And Boynan saying, do you think the Vikings would take Javon Holland? I hope they don't. Holland's probably going to get around $20 million, and I don't want to pay a safety that much money. But Roger saying all in on Drew Dahlman. Oh, guys, if Monday, could you imagine right when 11 o'clock strikes and Drew Dahlman signing with the Minnesota Vikings, we'll be waving goodbye to Garrett Bradbury, man. And I cannot wait to do that. Yeah, but again, if we get any significant news over the next couple of days, we will be going live here on the channel. Like if Sam Darnold resigns, we'll be going live here. Probably not for like Byron Murphy, but also if like Daniel Jones resigns with the Vikings, that pretty much indicates Sam Darnold's walking out. So we'll probably go live for that as well. But Cohen Banks saying Byron Murphy overrated. I don't want to say he's overrated. I'll probably say overvalued right now. I just don't get the reports of him getting $20+ million per year. I think he's more around that 16. Honestly, I would probably be more comfortable paying him around 15 per, but we'll see. But Z Cool saying SKOL Nation, SKOL Nation. So we're going to hop on out of here. We appreciate all of you guys for tuning in today. As always, SKOL Vikes, Corey Miller, I appreciate you for tuning in. Very nice words. But we'll see you guys next time. As always, SKOL Vikings.